Hello, and welcome to today's trending contract, Muffin Mania, set in Whittleton Creek and supplied to us today by Stefkel Lefke. So moving on to our briefing, 47, your targets are members of a mafia. They like to call themselves Sweet Death. That's because they put lethal poison in the muffins that takes 3 hours to work. They are currently targeting citizens of Whittleton Creek, Vermont. Eliminate the targets and leave unseen. So speaking of targets, today we have 5 familiar faces along with a free map. So for today's challenge, we'll be starting at the default location, and we're going to attempt this with empty pockets. So right from the start and off the bat, we're going to head straight to the Wilson's property, where our first target is already located, and unfortunately for them, they are alone and vulnerable. So we're just going to make our way straight down the main street, in through the front door of the Wilson's house and up to the spare bedroom just around to our left. We're going to mosey straight on in, and here is Mr. West, who we are going to render unconscious and give him a neck massage. So one target down, we're now going to do a bit of setup for the rest of our targets, and that requires us to obtain 2 propane cylinders. So we're just going to go and grab the first one from the barbecue outside of the house with the boat outside, and that is over the fence of the Wilson's property. And once we have this one, we are going to deliver it to the Muffin van. So we're going to make our way back through the Wilson's property, as it is the shortest possible route, and we have quite the journey ahead of us. So what we're going to do is essentially we're going to set up the young lady at the Muffin van with a propane cylinder, and we're going to set up the gentleman we're about to pass, who is the muffin stall vendor, who is also going to get himself a little bit blown up. Now, in order to deal with that gentleman at the muffin stand, we are going to have to time it somewhat, as he has 2 clients with him, one of which we can get rid of. So once we get to the muffin van, we're just going to place our propane cylinder at the rear of the vehicle there. I should have really placed it ever so slightly closer to the vehicle, but it doesn't matter, we will still be able to see it from where we're taking our shots. So we're going to then return to the muffin stand. We're going to grab all of the muffins that we can and place one on the tray there, and that will attract the attention of the estate agent, as you can see in the corner. And he will come along and eat that, and then he will eat another one, and we will then set up another one for him in a short while. In the meantime, we're going to make our way to the house for sale and let ourselves in while we grab ourselves another propane cylinder, and then we can return to the muffin stand, and we can then place this propane cylinder near to our target. Anywhere nearby will do. They do have quite the blast radius. So I'm going to put it right here. If I can get it to sit up on this box, there we go. And then we're going to add another muffin to the tray here, and that should now be enough to get rid of the estate agent. So we can now move on. We have 3 targets over at the West House. So we're going to start with the young lady from outside who we've just passed. But first of all, we're going to need a weapon. So we're going to hop over the fence into the West House and up into the bathroom via the window. And we're going to wait right here for the FBI/CIA/gardener to make their way in. So as you can see, there are our 4 targets, nicely spaced out at the moment. And when the FBI/CIA/gardener arrives, we can render him unconscious, and he will deposit for us a silenced pistol. So here he is now. We're just going to let him get into position, make sure that his colleague isn't looking out the window, and we can then render him unconscious. We're going to take the gun that he drops, and we're going to make our way upstairs to the upper floor. We have to be somewhat careful up here, as they have a Billy Bass on the wall, which we will be utilizing, but we don't want to set it off just yet. So we're going to make our way into the study, out the window onto the awning roof, and from here we should be able to see the propane cylinder by the muffin van. So as you can see, I should have placed it ever so slightly closer to the van itself, but we can still see it. So we're just going to put 2 bullets into the propane and send the young lady on quite the journey. That was more than expected. Normally she doesn't go quite so far. So 2 targets down, 3 more to go. Now we have caused a bit of panic with that. So as you can see, everybody is panicking, including the politician who has just arrived at the front door. So when he rings the doorbell, he will get Helen West's attention. And when she comes along to undo the door and speak to the politician, we are going to interrupt her by activating Billy Bass here. And there we go. So she will now ignore the front door, and she will make her way up here and turn off the talking, singing fish. And we are going to wait back in the study room here, ready and waiting for her. We're just going to hide behind the door, and when she comes up to turn off the fish, we're going to let her turn it off, and then we're going to drop her with hopefully a single bullet to the head. There we go, although this gun is not the most accurate. So 2 more targets left to go, one of which will be heading this way because of Helen West being distracted away from the kitchen. They have wandered off, but they will return shortly, and they will go back to their usual routine in the kitchen. So I believe they're currently off somewhere urinating in public, which is an offence, and because we are at present, it is punishable by death. So once the server returns, Mr. Burton here is gonna get heavily penalized for urinating in public. So down he goes, and that just leaves our final target back at the muffin stand. I was going to go straight down the stairs there, then I remembered there's still 1 gardener in the garden. So we're just going to hop over the balcony, over the fence, head back to the muffin stand, and by now the estate agent should have left, which he has with a quick check of instinct. Now the young lady who frequents the muffin stand is still there, so we're going to wait for that conversation to play out and for her to walk away to her bench before we put 2 bullets quickly into the propane cylinder, put away our silenced pistol, and head for the nearest available exit, while everyone else around us panics in confusion. So there we go, 1 more trending contract taken care of, and hopefully we won't be kept waiting for the bus and we can leave Whittleton Creek. What a lovely clean bus it is as well. So we have confirmation all of our targets have been eliminated according to plan. We had no objectives, and we get a silent assassin rating. I have been Anubis, and I will see you all in the next video.